interest. This, the magistrate proceeded, although many crimes pass unsuspected, it is none the less obvious that they have been committed. Now, while some of them are due to ordinary criminals, others are the work of enigmatical beings who are difficult to trace and too clever or intelligent to let themselves be caught. History is full of such mysterious characters, the Iron Mask, for instance, and Cagliostro. In every age there have been bands of dangerous creatures led by such men as Cartouche and Vidocq and Rocambole. Now why should we suppose that in our time no one exists who emulates the deeds of those mighty criminals? The Abbé Sicot raised a gentle voice from the depths of a comfortable armchair, wherein he was peacefully digesting his dinner. The police do their work better in our time than ever they did before. That is perfectly true, the president admitted. But their work is also more difficult than ever it was before. Criminals who operate in the grand manner have all sorts of things at their disposal nowadays. Science has done much for modern progress, but unfortunately it can be of invaluable assistance to criminals at times. The hosts of evil have the telegraph and the motor car at their disposal just as authority has, and some day they will make use of the aeroplane. Young Charles Rambert had been listening to the president's dissertation with the utmost interest, and now broke in with a voice that quivered slightly. "You were talking about Fantomas just now, sir." The president cast a cryptic look at the lad, and did not reply directly to him. "That is what I am coming to, for of course you have understood me, ladies. In these days we have been distressed by a steady access of criminality, and among the assets we shall henceforth have to count a mysterious and most dangerous creature, to whom the baffled authorities and public rumor generally have for some time now given the name of Fantomas. It is impossible to say exactly or to know precisely who Fantomas is. He often assumes the form and personality of some definite and even well-known individual. Sometimes he assumes the form of two human beings at one and the same time. Sometimes he works alone, sometimes with accomplices. Sometimes he can be identified as such and such a person, but no one has ever yet arrived at knowing Fantomas himself. That he is a living person is certain and undeniable, yet he is impossible to catch or to identify. He is nowhere and everywhere at once. His shadow hovers above the strangest mysteries, and his traces are found near the most inexplicable crimes. And yet— "You are frightening us," exclaimed the Baron de Vibray with a little forced laugh that did not ring true. And the Marquise de Langrune, who for the past few minutes had been uneasy at the idea of the children listening to the conversation, cast about in her mind for an occupation more suited to their age. The interruption gave her an opportunity, and she turned to Charles Rambert and Thérèse. "You must find it very dull here, with all us grown-up people, dears. So run away now, Thérèse," she added with a smile to her granddaughter, who had risen obediently. "There is a splendid new puzzle in the library. You ought to try it with Charles." The young fellow realized that he must comply with the desire of the Marquise, although the conversation interested him intensely. But he was too well bred to betray his thoughts, and the next moment he was in the adjoining room, sitting opposite the girl and deep in the intricacies of the latest fashionable game. The Baron de Vibray brought the conversation back to the subject of Fantomas. "What connection is there, President, between this uncanny creature and the disappearance of Lord Beltham, of which we were talking at dinner?" "I should certainly have agreed with you, and thought there was none," the old magistrate replied, "if Lord Beltham's disappearance had been unattended by any mysterious circumstance. But there is one point that deserves your attention. The newspaper from which I read an extract just now, La Capitale, draws attention to it and regards it as being important. It is said that when Lady Beltham began to be uneasy about her husband's absence, on the morning of the day following his disappearance, she remembered noticing just as he was going out that he was reading a particular letter, the peculiar square shape of which surprised her. She had also noticed that the handwriting of the letter was very heavy and black. Now she found the letter in question upon her husband's desk.